one of my favorite things to do ever. So we are live on YouTube and we're sharing how we can use integrated STEM ideas with Makey Makey. And I just realized another one of my documents isn't open. Claire, I'm not all the way ready. I forgot something. I'll live. So hello, and my intro to me, if you haven't met me before, I am Colleen Graves. I work at Makey Makey. This is like, I think my 4th year. And I create our content. I do our marketing. I post things on social. And I spend a lot of time doing a lot of writing and a lot of video and photo work to really help teachers learn how they can use Makey Makey in the classroom. So we're going to do our webinar a little bit differently today than we have in the past, because we're actually going to talk about, now I actually almost really do need to pause. I wonder if I can make my coworker, AKA my husband, bring my iPad. Wait, I have a phone. I can do this like this. Thank you for the love on my STEM shirt. I bought this in Philadelphia when we were still going to conferences, and I went to ISTE in Philadelphia and I found this shirt and I love it. And it's really cool. And there's Miss Johnson's on here and Ada Lovelace, but there's the architect lady. I love this architect lady. So anyway, Makey Makey, if you're new to Makey Makey, how many of you are new? Can you either raise your hand, or I don't know if you can raise, no, you can. You can raise your hand or you can type never used it or use it all the time. Newish is a nice way to say it. So I'd like to know, because what I'm going to do is just share a little bit of Regina. I remember seeing you at ISTE. That was fun. That was a good conference back then. We have new and Makey Makey, never used. Elena's new. Nice. It's good to see all you new folks. Well, I'm going to share a little bit about what Makey Makey is, so I can. Sorry, this is the multitasking part of the webinar where I'm a little bit in the weeds. So we consider this invention kit for the 21st century a great product for classroom teachers, STEM teachers, librarians, and kind of a new area that we think would be appropriate is homeschooling and homeschool pods, because Makey Makey can be really self-driven, and a lot of homeschoolers have students that are focusing on things they want to do to complete, and so it makes it a really fun invention kit for kids like that. It is basically a tool that you plug into your computer that allows you to connect the everyday world to now control your computer. So you can connect a banana, you can connect a pie tin, and all of the things that you do with your keyboard keys, you can now do with your Makey Makey. We have online curriculum that's supported with 16 classes. So when you go to our how-to page, and I'll have another thing here in a second, but when you go to our how-to page, those first 16 guides are meant to be done in order. Now, they don't include our new apps, so I'm probably going to refresh those in the next couple months here, but they are designed for you to start at the beginning, put your hands on the Makey Makey, learn how to code with Makey Makey, and then just move on through each one until it ends with an invention. So we really think that the best way for kids to become an inventor is to put on the hat of an inventor and learn to repurpose everyday stuff. So if they are playing with Makey Makey and using bananas now as a piano, and then the next thing they make foil to make their own Buzzin thing, which we're talking about quiz shows and buzzer apps today. And all these things are going to help them start thinking about the world as reformable in a different place. So it helps them get started in physical computing, which might be a new term for you. And it sounds scary, but it's not. It just means that I'm going to build something that I can use with my computer. Now, one thing that I think all of us kind of forget is that we have lots of computers. We talk about our computer being a computer, but I don't have it next to me. But this is also a computer. this computer mouse, and its one job is to be a computer mouse, right? My watch is a computer. There's lots of computer chips in lots of things that now power our world. So it's kind of really good for our kids to be thinking about how they can control a computer either through code or through physical creation, and all just using everyday stuff. It was pretty awesome. So here's those courses and what their kids are going to learn when they go through each class. And don't worry, I will share all the slides afterwards because I know you're all asking that right now. We've also, we have a new product manager, and Derek, and he's not here today because he's working on some other stuff, but he's helped us get out some new things this year. So we have this new craft and code kit. And these booster kits are really awesome because they have kind of complicated, some like hard to find materials, but they also have things that are really like, we see them as things like, oh, I have those brass fasteners and binder clips. I know what those things are. And they help us really focus on merging art and technology, and you don't have to chase down materials. So I really love them. And I hope I don't start another book domino. I did that right before the webinar started. It's gonna happen. Again, Claire. Claire, can you come put your hand here? And each of the booster kits have projects designed specifically to go with them. So here's like the drawing circuits booster kit that goes with our new Makey Makey piano app. We also have the Get Up and Go booster kit. And the projects that I'm showing you today really work with either of these kits because both kits have conductive fabric tape, and that is my favorite thing in the world. And we're also going to use the extra long wires that are available in the STEM pack and in the Get Up and Go booster kit. So one project you probably already know about that'd be great for Black History Month, but if you're new, you may not know. This is my favorite one of my favorite projects. Claire, if you can share that link, it will make my life a lot easier because once I'm in slideshow mode, I basically can't see anything. And so when this project, because you can code, or you could use our sampler, you don't even have to code, but because you can make your key press play a sound, right? You can actually have students research a Black person of great importance, or this actually, when I did this project, I was doing poetry. So these are all great Black poets. I read in Scratch, and each key press plays the poem. And what's really great about doing something like that, when a student uses their own voice, they end up using intonation, and a lot better than when they stand up in front of the class and try to read a poem, because we all know how that sounds. So just to clarify on Makey Makey and its key points for those of you that are new, when you plug in Makey Makey, and I have my project over here I'm going to show in a second, when you plug it in, your computer just sees Makey Makey as a keyboard. So look for an extra one. There it is. So now my computer thinks I plugged in an external keyboard. It doesn't know that it's this. The computer thinks, oh, there's a new keyboard plugged in. And then when I hold Earth and I press up, down, left, right, then the computer thinks I'm pressing arrow keys. And on the back, there's some keys, W, A, S, D, F, G. It would think I'm typing the letters W, A, S, D. So there's no important software. There's nothing that goes with it. You just plug it in and the computer thinks it's a keyboard. The other thing that's important to know is that if I can control it on the computer, I can control it with Makey Makey. So we have some new apps, and we're going to talk about those today. We're focusing on the Buzzer app, and they are controlled with key presses, so they work great with Makey Makey. And the last thing, and this is the one that's hard for those of us that are new, is that you have to have two connections. So you have to have Earth and these key presses. So this is called creating a circuit. And the most common mistake that we see with Makey Makey is people only trying to like press the arrows and they're not holding Earth. Now, the alligator clips that it comes with allow us to pull Earth out to be another thing. So that's how we pull Earth out and we plug it into something that has just a little bit of conductivity, let's say a banana, and now my computer key can be a banana. So in this project, you can use Scratch, or you can use our new sampler app to record your voice, and you could read a poem, you could talk about important things, or you could talk about the childhood of someone you researched, anything you want. It really is great for any type of what do you call it? It's great for any research project. I'm losing my mind, y'all. So today we're talking about the Buzzin app, and the Buzzin app is super cool. And I want to just talk about lesson ideas. So I talked a little about how Makey Makey works. I'm not going to talk a lot about it now. I'm going to talk about what you can actually do. So one of my favorite things as a librarian, so we're going to build these quiz show devices, right? And the kids can choose which kind they want to do. But what are they going to be doing? What content-wise? And let's see. I'm going to minimize for just a second so I can make sure. Okay, I have hands raised all of a sudden, but I don't know why. So if you guys want to tell me something, Claire, you may have to like vocally bust in because I can't see anything when I'm in screen share. All right, so I'm going to put this back up. I think I actually feel like I have my slides a little bit backwards, but that's okay because it's going to make sense. So one of my favorite things as a librarian is to expose kids to lots and lots and lots of books. And one way to do that is by book speed dating. It's also known as book sampling or book tasting. And my idea for, and I've got some of the books here, for this whole lesson for Black History Month is to set up tables by themes and have tons and tons of books for the kids to read and sample. So I just made a really quick book sampler. You don't want too much on it because kids will get tired of filling it out and they won't read as much about the book. And so you don't want to harper on to them that like you got to write incomplete sentences or anything like that. You want to make sure that they're reading the books and that they're just kind of sampling them and learning about whoever it is in their book. And they're going to be quizzed afterwards, or maybe they're going to write the quiz. We're going to talk about all that. So my giant list of books I was helped very much this week by Amber Barr, the librarian at my own child's school here in Round Rock ISD. And she and I both looked at these other lists. They're on the bottom, and I will share this. This is a Jamboard. I'll share the whole Jamboard. But these are all the books. In fact, the best thing about my week this week was that let me just hold up a stack of books. So you can see, I have all these books stacked by type behind me, behind my work desk, and my own children were just sitting on the floor reading through all the books. So what I thought would be really fun as a librarian, we like to kind of group books by topics, which is actually really good because here in Texas, they have this teak that's like creating connections across text. So my vision is at the tables in the library or in your classroom, you would have, and I actually really would do this with the librarian, have them pick books for you, go to the library, do some book sampling in there. It's a great way. Sometimes it's good just to get the kids in another room. But they have one table that has books about inventors and scientists, and they have another table that has books about artists and a table about environmentalists, because I actually found all these really cool books about environmentalists, Black environmentalists. Some were The Water Princess, Georgie Badil. I don't actually have this book, but Peter Reynolds does the illustrations, and I love him. But I don't have it with me today. In this book, she actually gets potable water for her community. So I think that's really cool. And The Boy Who Harnessed the Wind, you probably all heard of that book before too. So that's also sitting back here behind me. But I was really just inspired by my friend Chris Barton's book, Whoosh, to think about like, oh, I wanted to do all inventors. And then I thought, well, what if it's more STEAM focused? And we look at mathematicians and we look at artists, and we don't just look at inventors. So I have the other section on mathematicians. There's tons of great books out there about Katherine Johnson now. And when you do, I actually put in scientists, Mae Jemison. There's tons of great books on Mae Jemison. And something like this, I know I didn't say grade level, so I'll say that, but something like this will really work in grades 3, probably even through 8. You may not want to put this book in front of an 8th grader, but if you're telling them they're sampling something, they might be okay with it. And even if you don't believe me, middle school kids can read picture books and they still like them. And so can high school kids. Because I used to teach high school and I used to read picture books to them and they've always loved it. I mean, unless kids have changed a lot, which I guess they have because they all have phones now. But anyway, if you were doing a collective biography, what you'd want to do is take a sticky note and maybe put a sticky note here on Muhammad Ali. They could read about specific people so they're not thumbing through the book the whole time for the sampling. This book even has a biography on Questlove, so that's pretty cool. This one's called Groundbreaking Guys. And there's lots of great books out there. Now here's Kendrick Lamar. There's lots of great books out there also for the Little People, Big Dreams series has lots of great books in there. And I just realized that I'm sitting here telling you about all the books and the next slides still tell you about all the books. So here are some of my recommendations for books on Black inventors and scientists. Kids would look at them if they have time. If you put up a timer for 10 minutes, maybe they read for 10 minutes. Maybe this is just at one table, right? Maybe they read Vision of Beauty for 3 minutes and then they put it down and they read a little bit about Mae Jemison. The point is to just expose them to how great all of these people are, right? So we're going to let them read, write a couple things down, and then we're going to have our quiz show. Here are the books I suggested on mathematician. I had not seen this book, Ron's Big Mission. I don't think I was going to try to find it and show it to you. That's really cool. He's a NASA. What is it? He actually got books for the library or something crazy. I have to go back and read it again. But Don Tate did the illustrations in here, and I think Don Tate's a pretty cool guy. We met him before. Yeah, it was hard to get a library card. And so this is how this future scientist and astronaut actually desegregated the library. I did not know about this story. So this is like such a cool story. Sometimes reading about history through stories is just a little more fun. And here's a section on artists. I also didn't know about Dave the Potter. And when I was putting that other Jamboard together, I was like, what's his last name? He didn't have a last name because during that time, slaves didn't have last names or they weren't given last names. So that was interesting. And I happen to love Jean-Michel Basquiat, so I thought it was really cool. There's a Little People, Big Dreams on him. There's also one on David Bowie, which doesn't have anything to do with this, but it's such a cool series that has more modern biographies. And there's the Water Princess. Now you can see the cover. And I also thought this one plastic bag was really cool. There are women in Gambia who work on recycling, and there's just so much out there that once you read a lot or you just sample a lot of books, you find out a lot of ideas. So that's a lot of books. Oh my gosh, my computer. Oh, the last idea for that, let me see how I'm doing on time. Oh, good, I'm doing okay. Is to actually have one section on realistic fiction. We just have so many great books that we can share this way, but maybe they have a STEAM focus. So if you haven't seen the Zoe Sassafras books, they're really great science focused. And I think I have to go back to this because I can't remember the total title. Jada Jones. I was going to say JD, so I had to make sure. Jada Jones is another great STEM kids book, and it's a whole series and it's realistic fiction. And of course, you've probably seen Ada Twist Scientist, but this is just one section. So when the kids read for 10 minutes in each different area, they're getting a different sampling. They're getting 10 minutes about environmentalism, and they could spend 10 minutes reading a fictional book with these characters that are doing great things. And now, how are you going to use Makey Makey? So now that they've sampled all the books and they've spent a lot of time really looking at some Black history and important people, you're going to have the kids build their own quiz show devices. And as I go through each idea for the quiz show, I'm also going to show you how you can build different ones. Well, let me put my other camera on. I'm having trouble with my Zoom. I told someone earlier, I was like, oh no, I hope I don't have the zoomies today, because when you're doing a webinar, you don't want to have the zoomies. All right, good. Let me see if I can spotlight it. Now, y'all have to tell me, can you see both of them well enough before I spend too long? And I'm going to make the this thing a little smaller. Yes, thank you, Regina. Oh, good, you're sharing books in there. Awesome. Great. Love to see that. Okay. Let me get this back up. View. Slideshow. Make sure I'm still spotlighted. I am. Okay. If you don't know this, there is a little white triangle on the corner. You can drag the box a little bit bigger so you can see it. All right, so now I've got Makey Makey, and I've got one of my quiz show devices already built, and I'm going to show you how to use it. But the really simple way of doing this is probably what you expected when you thought of a quiz show. You might put up your Jeopardy style show, and you're going to have the kids build. Each kid builds their own buzzer. Since they're just using cardboard and foil and something like brass fasteners, every kid should be able to build them. I'll show you my other favorite one in the next quiz show idea. But if they're doing this, and I match the symbols on the buzzer, so this one will match the triangle, what they're going to do is you're going to have the questions and they're going to buzz in. But I thought it would be fun, instead of asking like comprehension questions, which we know isn't great, is to ask them things like, did anyone read about an artist? Buzz in and tell me something cool you read. So for the student to buzz in, they have two spots here. I probably should have gone with the easiest one first. Right, Claire? But that's okay, because I'm me, and I don't do the easiest way first. So I'm going to have, I actually could clip right there, but what I did is I put my brass fastener on the, goes through the back, and I use the tape to come up here. I could clip right here. It just wouldn't be as sturdy. So I have one. Remember, the common mistake is to not have earth. So I have one for the key press. And I make sure my alligator clip is really touching that tape. And then I'm going to have one for earth. Okay. Great. And Claire, again, I can't see anything, so please unmute and tell me if someone's having like a total, I can't see anything calling. Now I know you're probably saying, well, how's this going to work? So let me make sure that I'm on the right thing, and I'm going to go out to our buzzer app so that you can see that, and then I'll be able to see for a second. That'll be nice. All right, so to go to our Makey Makey buzzer app, I'm just going to type, makey.com/buzzer. It probably isn't going to work. I probably have to put play buzzer, but I can always do this. Apps. All right, so now I'm at all the apps. And they're looking a little funny because I have something going on my computer. I got to figure that out. But I click on, if the real link was play/#buzzer, which I kind of knew. So now if I press space, it's waiting for me to ask a question. All right. So they didn't even read a book about an artist. Now I buzz in. Oh, hey, guess what? It doesn't work if you don't plug it in. So now I'm really boxed in. Don't let me move. Okay, so did you see the lights flash? That's one way we know Makey Makey's working. I'll plug it back in and see. All right, so there goes all the lights. So it's definitely on. So it's still waiting for me to buzz in. When I put my hand over both contacts, I will buzz in. So, and there you go. It tells me the up arrow went first. Y'all, I even matched the triangle. I didn't even mean to. So if I were the kid and I only touch one of them, nothing's going to happen. I have to press both. Oh, I also have to start the buzzer to let it know. I have to let the computer know I want to see who's buzzed in. All right, so I buzzed in first. That's how I do it. And then I could buzz in. Let me go ahead and plug another one in. So I've got another guy. It doesn't matter which one I do as earth and which one I do as the other. And in the guide, I actually just took a piece of aluminum foil and use that as my earth. I can do all kinds of crazy things. I can come over here and clip right on this one instead of clipping the Makey Makey if I want. Or I can just clip on my Makey Makey. But all that matters is that I'm getting ground somewhere. So now I have 2 buzzers. So after the book talk, we're using this to talk about what we read. So let's say we spent 30 minutes sampling books. Now we're going to go back and just see what everyone learned through our reading. So I'll be saying, okay, and everyone's going to have 1 buzzer. Each kid has 1 buzzer. And then I'll talk more about this, but each kid will have 1 buzzer, and you can do this different ways. You can have them come up and do it Family Feud style, or I'll talk about it through each slide though. So if I had 2 people here, each person has 1 buzzer, all right? And I say, okay, who read about I'm just trying to think. Who read about the first female entrepreneur? This person slaps. I read about Madam C.J. Walker. I want to talk about her. And they're buzzing in. And I want to go back to my slideshow because I want to share a little more about each idea. I went overboard in the way you could talk about each one. So yeah, it's not so much, each kid has 1 buzzer, and it's not so much that each, it's hard to get back to my computer. It's not so much like a reading comprehension as it is more of just a really fun way to get kids to talk about books in this first example. And the second example, you might actually have the kids create the quiz show. So let me put it back on my own face. Da, da, da. And in this one, in fact, this is actually, and I probably should have stayed on my other screen. This is a different one. I can build this one with you guys right now because I have foil, I have paper. So the crafting code actually has this foil in it, which might seem silly until you need some foil and you've already gone to the cafeteria and bummed it from your favorite cafeteria worker, which I have done. Just the foil is conductive, right? I just use the color on the construction paper as something really fun to make it more nice. I'll just do it on the back of this other one. And what I would do is the kid could then cut this to be whatever shape they want. So maybe they're going to cut it as a heart or a, I don't know. I'm going to cut it as a heart now that I said it. So I think that'd be fun. And maybe you have your short science lesson. Maybe you built the quiz so buttons before you do the book talk. It doesn't have to all be in one lesson. It might be faster, but this is a really quick build, really fast. So I'll take my foil. And this one, they'd have to hold her. So build their buzzer. They glue stick this on, and I might have the kids write the questions. So maybe I did an actual whole lesson on Whoosh by Lonnie Johnson. And instead of me writing questions, I have the kids write questions and they write answers, and then they turn all the questions in to me. And then I can write them on the whiteboard, or I can just say them out loud and put the buzzer up. You can also do things on like Mentimeter or quizzes, but the only thing is once you do that, you're not gonna have the buzzer up. So to have the buzzer up, you might just wanna go easy and low key. So then the kids could rotate, like I have group 1 over here, group 2 over here, and group 1 consists of 5 kids, and only 1 kid comes up to buzz in at a time. And they can bring their buzzer up and they plug it to Makey Makey. So I'll switch back to my other camera. Right? So they're gonna come up. These are gonna be unplugged. And I'm gonna make a big deal and say, don't forget to hold Earth. So then the kid is gonna hook up here. Maybe this other kid built that buzzer. And now when I ask the question, let me put it back on the buzzer. Oh, well, there's the lesson project idea. There you are, buzzer. All right, so I hit start and the kid asked the question, you know, what was the robot's name that Lonnie Johnson built? And they hold Earth and they tap their buzzer. Oh, I didn't hit go. And it turned off the camera. Probably it isn't spotlighted anymore. Oh, it's still spotlighted. That's nice.
Yep, we can see you.
All right. Thank you, Claire. So I hit go. And I tap in, right? And I say the robot's name was Linux. Right. So, oh, thanks. Thanks everyone for helping Janice. All right, good. So now another idea after they created their own one. So remember in Family Feud, everybody can kind of whisper in the ear of the person with the buzzer, right? That's how that works, I think. And then, so they still work together. I love the kids create the quiz show idea. Now, the last device, and then another, I still have like 2 more ideas for quiz shows because the quiz show doesn't have to be straightforward. Is the kids actually create these hand buzzers. That's what I used on the back. And that's so they don't have to hold Earth. All right, so my wires are getting crazy. What I'm going to do is unhook everything but these 2 buzzers so it doesn't look so crazy. Is that okay? Let me put in up. Ooh. So with the hand buzzer, it looks super fun because it looks like a hand. And it really displays the concept. I think even a little bit better than the slap switch. I'm calling this a slap switch because it's based on the design by John Lynch. If you look in the guide, I talk a little bit more about that. But in the hand, our very own Tom Heck once did this at FETC. He had the hand, and then I built him a jacket once where you could give him a hand and it would say things to motivate you or make you feel better. But this is allowing me to bridge the content because I put my whole hand across to complete 2. So the collaborative quiz show is the idea that the kids would read all the books, right? And that's still the same, that 30 minutes of reading and sampling books and writing down facts, but you tell them you can write anything down that you think I might ask you. So really that's the part of learning for them. They're going to learn the most because they're going to write down all kinds of stuff because they don't know what you're going to talk about. So to me, this is like my favorite idea on really just like you can write down facts about the person. It's really more helpful than the actual quiz because they're going to work together. They're going to share what they want, what they read and what they learned. And then each kid can contribute to the cheat sheet and learn from one another. So we do this again, Family Feud style. And the hand will have them both up. So I'll do one cookie press. Where's my other Earth go? What's up here? And the other one is Earth. So now they're both plugged in. And again, if you can drag the corner to make it bigger, it does only let me go so big. Let me stop the share for a second. All right. So I have one side, which is the key press. And it's really better to do this on like construction paper. If it's too thin, it doesn't hold very well. And then the other one is to Earth. And now when I share my screen, well, I lost my whole other Chrome thing, y'all. Oh, it's way over here. Can you still see it? I hope so. All right. So I'm back to my buzzer. I'm going to hit space. I'm going to make sure my camera is bigger. And this one is plugged into the down arrow on Makey Makey. So when I slap in, oh, it didn't work. What did I do wrong? It's because I got so many wires going on. I told y'all I was going to take away the extra wires and I didn't do it. I know what's wrong. I don't have the earth plugged into the Makey Makey because it's plugged into the other device. Don't laugh. Actually, do laugh because this is what teaching is like, right? Okay, now I hit the earth. Oh, and I haven't hit start. I'm worried about Lori because she keeps raising her hand. Thanks. Yes, I didn't press space. All right, so I do think that's the only thing that's really hard to remember to do is to press space. So now it's waiting. Oh, I touched it with the back of the Makey Makey. Let me try that again. So now I'm holding it up. Oh, I didn't hit space again. There you go. So that's buzzing us in. Thanks, y'all. I love that you're loving this. All right. So, what am I doing on time, Claire? That's the other thing. It takes over everything. Oh, I'm doing so good. All right. So, another idea for the hand. In fact, I'm going to turn my camera. I guess can't turn it off, but I'm going to unspotlight it because you want to see it right this second. Is that you could have the kids sample the books. Again, that's the same. I'm just showing different ways you can think about doing this. It doesn't have to all be the same. So have the kids think about books and then you give them the answer. Here's the question. I did it backwards in the slides. Here's the answer. What is the question? Oh, Colleen. Anyway, so the example, I say super soaker water gun and the kid buzzes in and they say, who invented or what did Lonnie Johnson invent? That's a really fun, easy way to do the quiz show. And the last example I have is actually not book related. And I just did that for those of you who are short on time. And I thought this was, oh wait, there's one missing. Is it after this? Oh no, I'm so worried. Did I delete it? So sad. Well, okay. I don't know where my slide went. I'll re-add it in. But I actually thought it would be a really great idea to choose a specific skill to learn. So maybe you're actually using a reading focus. I know I made the slide, so maybe I accidentally deleted it. I'll go in and see if I can find it in Google Drive, or I'll just add it back after this, because I will put the slideshow up on our blog for you to see. But maybe you do sequence, right? And so if you had done, again, that might be you focus on one book, right? So you do the life of, actually, Madam C.J. Walker is pretty awesome. So maybe you do the sequence for Madam C.J. Walker of like her life, or maybe you do main idea and you write down, you have the main idea posted, and you have kids buzz in if they read a book that had that main idea. So I think that would be really fun. You could also have them do compare contrast. You could have them do author's purpose. So like which book, because the way a biography is written is very different than the way these picture books are written. So you could do author's purpose as your buzz in. And you could also do making connections across text. This is kind of like that first one where you just ask a really open question and you have them answer. And so you could say like, what connections did you make today about the books that you read or sampled? What did they have in common? I also liked this one. I don't know which grade level does this, but you could give a judgment or a generalization. So you could have a statement posted about one of the books, and then, or something from in the book, like maybe something from Inside Radiant Child, and you say, is this a judgment or a generalization? And I bet just looking at a book like this, I could find something right there. People describe him as a radiant, wild, a genius child. So is that a judgment or a generalization? And that's another good idea is doing a main idea and having them pick supporting details. So like which supporting details actually go. So that's just like real reading comprehension stuff that you might do where you'd actually normally wouldn't have the buzz in at all, right? You just have that up and the kids would answer as a quiz. This part just makes it a little more fun, a little bit more excited to do it. And the last reading comprehension skill you could cover might be fact and opinion. You have them buzz in to identify fact or opinion. Claire, are you trying to say something?
Well, I was just going to point out that Rachel did have a question about how many students can be connected to the buzzer.
Okay. Oh, that's a great question because I need to go over that. So I'm going to answer that, but I'm going to show you the one last slide, and then I'll spend time looking at the buzzer because this is the last slide. So what happened to my thing there? So the last idea is that maybe you don't have time to read books, and I thought this was a really interesting quiz show idea. You do an observation challenge. So the idea for an observation challenge is to tell kids, I'm going to have you observe this video, and afterwards, I'm going to have you buzz in to answer questions based on observations. So there's the quiz show guy going. So if they watch this video on Madam C.J. Walker, I'll mute it for a second, from the National Archives, they're just watching it to observe the video and to look at things. So they might notice, it says the Walker Manufacturing Company. And there's my first observation question. And if they'd read the book about her, they would also still be able to answer this. So in the observation challenge, you'd say, when the video's over, complete the logo from the tin, wonderful hair, blank. And they would have to remember it says grower. And then in the video, in the first like 30 seconds, they talk about how Madam C.J. Walker trained thousands of African-American independent young women to go out and sell her products, which is really amazing. So you would say, who sold her hair care products? And then she would answer. And so I'll share that video and everything afterwards. And now I'll answer your buzzer question, because this is a great question because I didn't answer. I will share the slides and I will share the Jamboard. Actually, the slides and everything will be on a blog post this afternoon. But anyway, to share how you can change the number of buttons. So it looks like only 4 buttons. You can add, it looks like 12 buttons. I don't know why they didn't put the numbers. Usually the arrow keys go, so we might have a bug there we need to work out. But as you put in more buttons, it gives you the different key presses. So you could have, you could have half the class. You could get at least 11. I wouldn't want to do click. So I would probably, space is still my button that sends me in. So I'd probably do 10. Right, and so now to use the back of the board, I guess I should share that with the other camera. In the Get Up and Go kit, there is a, this is going to bite me because it's not the full one that I pulled out. In the Get Up and Go kit, there is a extender. Don't worry, because I have them, but I can't go this way because my Makey Makey is right there. Hang on. 1 second. Let me see. All right. I have a messy one. I think this is going to have to be the one I show you. Okay. Let me look one more spot. Oh, I know it's probably in my little container. There is this guy, but actually I'm going to add my other camera on so you can see it. But if I plug into the back of the board, which doesn't require any extra programming or anything. I dropped my Makey Makey on the floor and walked past. Problem is you're going to get really a lot of wires at that point. So you may want to have kids rotate and only do like 6 at a time. If you do 5, you can do just the front of the board. But on the back, all you have to do to access WASDFG is plug in these little clips. Sorry. There you go. So if I plug in this one, and then I have tape on them. I was trying to find another one. You can actually pull these apart too, so I'm going to show you with one that's pulled apart. I plug in the W here, and then I could alligator clip to this. It's probably what I'd want to do. But now, when I'm playing, if I hold earth and touch that, there you go. I just buzzed in on W. So I could do the back of the board. And I see it's glitching out on me. One other thing that's really cool about the new apps is they are adjustable. And once you click refresh, you are going to set it back to the way it was. So I'm going to go like this. And I'm going to add a couple extra buttons. Well, let's say, you know where I got it to click. Maybe I wanted to use click. I could come over here and change F to be click. Or I could remap my Makey Makey to other letters. Well, it still end up being W, I guess. But if I wanted to use the front of the board, I could remap the click to be W. Yeah, so you can actually adjust that whole thing. All right, let me see if there's any other questions going on. Okay. So that is my plethora of ideas. Let me give you those slides and a Jamboard. So everything. I actually think I shared it to be, but wait, before I share it, I want to find my one missing slide that disappeared on me because I'm really upset about that. Because I had it there before the webinar. But I am going to share this Jamboard right now because it's took me a lot of work and I'm really proud of it. And the slideshow and any links we talked about and all the books are listed on this Jamboard, but they're also going to be listed. Look at you guys all going. I can see you all coming to my Jamboard. I can see you there. And I also listed the other places I got lists. So let me share those with you too, because I think they're great. And in case you want to find some lists, put that here in chat. And that's a mess. You know when calling, I am having the zoomies. Let me do one at a time. So here is Melissa in Cole's picture books about African-American scientists and inventors. The environment one was a little harder for me to do my research, so I did find a Huffington Post article on children's books about all environmentalists, or lots of environmentalists, and then the Save the Children link, I can get it, had more Great Black History Month books, and Melissa had another one called Picture Books about African Americans that you should probably know about, but don't. So before we go, the question is, were there any of these books you hadn't heard of or inventors you hadn't heard of that you would love to tell me, hey, Colleen, that's cool. Where'd you find out about this book? Oh, and some of them, you know, you got to go to your librarians and see what they know because they are the ones who will tell you. Our blog is located at makeymakey.com/blog. Because you're registered for the webinar and you're here, you'll get a direct link as soon as I've got all the resources posted. But we always keep everything. We have a YouTube playlist called Webinars that plays all the webinars. And then we have in the blog, there's tons of stuff. In fact, if you ever thought, hey, I read something somewhere about, you know, Makey Makey and assistive technology, well, you could go to our site and click on a little magnifying glass. Look at how many times I've typed assistive technology. Then you can find some blog posts about assistive technology. This one's so cool. This guy built a Minecraft controller. So a student who only had use of their foot could play Minecraft with their foot. It's pretty cool. Or maybe you want to know about STEM in the gym. You can go right there. It'll also pull up project guides this way. So we have tons of resources on our how-to page. I make the majority of these guides. If it has someone else's name, that other person wrote it. Otherwise, it was probably me. So these are those 16 guides that you can go through in order that culminates in a students designing a math and literacy game with Scratch. And I'm so glad Melanie loves the book about Lonnie Johnson too. I love it as well. And I'm happy to know Chris Barton and Don Tate. They're super awesome guys. And I love this book. And like I said, Don Tate wrote another one that was on here. He wrote two. One he did the illustrations for. Another one he wrote, I think it's It Just Happened. Have y'all seen that one? That was a new one for me. It is about, might as well finish off the book talks here in the last few minutes. It Just Happened. So when Bill Traylor started to draw, this is about a folk artist that just suddenly was drawing. So Don Tate wrote this one. He's the illustrator in English. And another great book, which I'm sure you've seen, is how many of you have books on your floor? If you do this, I didn't know about TikTok. Banneker's Clock. This one was new for me. The book about Questlove. Let me get that one back for you. It's not a whole book. This was a good one, Counting on Catherine. And this was a new one for me. It's a true story from Africa. Wangari's Tree of Peace. This is one of those realistic fiction books, King and Kayla. I thought this was super cute. I can build it. It's a realistic fiction. And the one that had Questlove, there are so many great books coming out like this now. Like the Rebel Girls books have tons of great one-page biographies in them. And they're new and they're about cool people. I just turned to Harvey Milk. This is the one that had Questlove. I got this one at my local public library. This one isn't only, it's all men. So Obama's on here. And is that Bill Gates? It might be. But there's Questlove on the cover. And Freddie Mercury. So that's pretty cool. This is the one that had Questlove and Kendrick Lamar. Buzzing with Questions. I didn't see that one. It's a new book for me. Let me open it up. Ooh, I like it. It was actually kind of hard to find inventor books, specific like picture book inventor books. There's some other ones I had pulled out, but I didn't totally share with you. You've probably seen Bessie Coleman books. So Bessie's a great person. This was another good picture book about George Washington Carver. There's another book on Bessie. But I found some books like this on Black inventors. So that's pretty cool. And then here's another one of those kind of more modern ones. Boys Who Rocked the World. And if I were the librarian, I would probably put some Post-its on specific ones for people to look. The Jamboard is all the titles, but they're also all in the slideshow. I don't know that any of them are listed like on a Google Doc, but I'll do that for you, Sherry, no problem. All right, that's it. We've used all our time. I hope you had a great day, and I hope that you were able to learn something new and you have good ideas for using the buzzer and Makey Makey to kind of make your classroom a little more fun and have some integrated STEM, along with really great history lessons and learning about all these amazing people. Thank you so much for being here today, and we'll see you again next month. Bye. Thank you. Well, I love incorporating literature too, because if you didn't know, Brenda, did you know? Oh, it was Lynn who said that, but I was a librarian for a decade and an English teacher for a long time. I won't keep saying how old I am. It's so lovely to see all of you. Our next webinar, we're actually going to do like a live where you can put your picture on, but it won't be broadcast for hands-on for people who are new to Makey Makey. So look for that in our newsletter. Thanks. Bye.